baby. Another episode of the Dubs Talk podcast with yours truly, Bonta Hill, and our Warriors Insider Hall of Famer here at NBC Sports Bay Area, and two-time Emmy Award-winning Monte Poole. And we're recording after a loss to the Atlanta Hawks. And, you know, I read the comments. I'll just say this. I read the comments. A lot of people think I enjoy when the Warriors lose. I don't like talking about losses. All right? It makes me miserable talking about losses. You know? Doesn't make me happy. Losses are not always good for business, Monty.
Yes. we remember the good old days, like 7-8 years ago.
Yes. We also remember the bad times during the 2000s and the late 90s. Nobody wants to roll like that. Trust me. I do not enjoy watching the Warriors lose, especially in the fashion that they lost to the Atlanta Hawks, which we'll get into in just a second. But let me remind everybody, we're brought to you by Man City Sleep World. Man City Sleep World, go ahead and visit sleepworld.com. And look, why Mancini's? What separates them from others? Their Rest Easy Promise, Monte. You know about that. Every purchase backed by a Rest Easy Promise, Mancini makes sure you sleep soundly in every single way. That means 365-night comfort guarantee, free next-day delivery, plus old mattress removal, best prices guaranteed, and 0% financing for 60 months. That's right, 0% financing for 60 months. You won't find this combination of benefits anywhere else. It's comfort, convenience, and confidence all roll into one. And right now, the Hawks look like they have a lot of confidence going on without Trae Young. Think about this. They make the blockbuster trade. And a lot of people, man, Trae Young's a baller. And he's an all-star. But they're now 18-9 without Trae Young, 2-8 when they had Trae Young in the lineup. And you see why. Jalen Johnson averaging nearly a triple-double, which he averaged in the month of December. Dyson Daniels making Stephen Curry work all night long. Ball denials. Nickeil Alexander-Walker showing everybody why Minnesota made a mistake, letting him walk away from Minnesota. This Hawks team was very impressive. And there was a point in that game where Curry was starting to get cooking in that third quarter, Monty. Warriors cut it to 70-69. Draymond went 1-2 from the free throw line. 70-69. And the Warriors couldn't get over that hump. The Hawks outscored them the rest of the quarter, 24-9. And that was all she wrote. This game was all about Atlanta's defense, length, athleticism, led by young Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Warriors have been playing pretty well lately. 8 of 11 coming into this game, and their offense has been cooking pretty well. But so they come into this game thinking, okay, let's keep it going. This is a homestand. We can make some hay. And they run into this defense to a team that has what they don't. A lot of length, a lot of athleticism. And as we've seen earlier this season, when the Warriors run into that, it creates problems. I'm calling it their kryptonite because it really is. It's like they see that, and it's hard to penetrate that because you've got all these guys. I mean, Atlanta's got 6'11", 6'9", 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", Dyson Daniels is a guard, but he's 6'7", and he's long. And so, I mean, he's an all-defensive team player. So you're looking at a team like this, and you're coming in undersized with, low on athleticism. It's going to be hard to score. It's going to be hard to get easy looks.
Yep.
And you saw what happened tonight in this game. You saw in that third quarter especially, the old bad habit, the T word, showed up.
Oh, can we say that on the show? We can say it on the pregame show. Can we say it here, Bonnie? Go ahead, load it out.
Turnovers, okay? Live ball turnovers. The Warriors committed 5 turnovers in that third quarter, but 13 points tell you what they were live ball turnovers for the most part. So when you give up 13 points in a quarter, in 12 minutes off turnovers, you're giving your opponent a chance to run away with the game, which is what they did. So they were at one point the Warriors were up by 10 in the first half. Second half they were down by as much as 25.
Yep.
And the Hawks are good, but it's a bad matchup for the Warriors right now. And to me, this is the kind of game that reminds the front office that, hey, we may be trending positively, but we have not evolved to being a finished product. If this is the finished product, you're going to have problems against teams like this. And the problem with that is that there are a lot of teams in the NBA that have more athleticism and more length. In fact, most teams have more athleticism and more length. So you're now forced. I was talking to a scout tonight. He said they got to play perfect basketball against teams like this.
Yep.
And it's really hard to do. And so you can coast for a while. You play some bad teams, and you can have some good nights, good shooting nights like they did the other night. But it's one thing to do that against the Sacramento Kings. Quite other to do it against the Atlanta Hawks. They're built different. Yeah. And before we get too far ahead, I gotta say, the next test is gonna be the Portland Trail Blazers,
a team they haven't beat all season, Monte.
0-3,
who are very similar to these Atlanta Hawks. May not have the all-bomb. Well, actually, Kamara's a hell of. Tumani Kamara could defend. Kind of like Dyson Daniels, right? Denny Avia. He's got
a hell of a year.
Jalen Johnson.
I mean, he ain't Jalen Johnson.
He's not Jalen Johnson,
but he's having a great year.
He's having a fantastic season.
Yeah, he is trouble. He is trouble.
Time trouble.
Yeah, he is trouble.
They got Donovan Klingland in the middle. You saw Okongwu for the Hawks tonight, had a double-double. 12 of his 17 in the 13 of his 18 in the fourth quarter. How about this guy, Mohamed Gay? Yeah. Guarding, and that's the other thing.
6'11".
So much length and athleticism that they were able to say, you know what, we're going to play Jimmy Butler straight up. Jimmy Butler got us 30, right? 30-point game of the season. Stephen Curry, they played him straight up. We're not going to double off these two guys. And what happens? The rest of the team struggles from the floor, from the three-point line. Melton, who's been on fire, 0 for 5 for 3. Moody, you got nothing from him in the starting lineup. 2 points tonight, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Draymond Green, a -7, although he did have 9 rebounds and 4 assists. But they shut everybody else down and didn't let them get into the game. The Warriors bench, which has been solid over the last couple of weeks, MIA tonight because Luke Kennard shut that water off. 4 for 4 in the third quarter from the three-point line. So point of attack defense against Atlanta, and they forced the Warriors to get into their sets late in the shot clock. How's the thing? Deflections and ball denial, whether it's Dyson Daniels, whether it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, whether it was Jalen Johnson. Oh, my God, Jalen Johnson, what a player he is. And I see why the keys were handed over to him, Trae Young, who got traded to Washington for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. So this is a very impressive win by the Atlanta Hawks. They have 10 wins from against Western Conference teams. They're really good on the road.
That means they're legit.
That was a humbling victory or humbling defeat for the Golden State Warriors. And here's the thing, too. You brought up Sacramento real quick, Monty. We can't forget, as Steve Kerr mentioned, it was a pick-up game. Through the first 33 minutes of the basketball game.
Yeah.
Late in the third quarter, the Warriors go on a 13-0 run. They're now scoring 40-19 in the fourth quarter. Overall, a 53-19 burst in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But let's not act like Sacramento wasn't cooking offensively, because even though the Kings are a mess and they're the third oldest team in the league, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and company will get to any spot that they want. So unless there's a trade out there, which could be looming in the next couple of weeks with you-know-who, they have to get somehow money. They have to get more athletic, and they have to get some size.
No, I totally agree with that. And that's why this game against the Hawks, to me, it sounds, this is not the first time that alarm has sounded to let you know that they have to be able to do that. And I haven't heard much pushback lately. It used to be, well, we can do this, we can do that. We're okay. I haven't heard that lately. So I'm led to believe that Mike Dunleavy is more than wide open to that possibility. Because of positional size.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you want to call it, that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
And that's what you got to have to compete in this Western Conference. Because the Warriors have made up some ground in the past couple of weeks.
Yep.
The Lakers have kind of been stumbling around a little bit. The Nuggets have been, hit and miss. And so you're seeing that, and there's an opening for the Warriors to sort of make some ground, and they're doing it. But there's also, this was a reminder that, hey, guys, I know you're surging a little bit, but hey, you still got issues. And those issues come to the surface when you play a team like the Atlanta Hawks or the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm curious to see how they recover against the Trail Blazers because they've seen them 3 times now.
And you know how much the Blazers have averaged against the Warriors this season?
Like 120-something points.
134.
Oh, well, there you go. I know it's a ton. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot.
and I'm gonna guess that they probably, in those 3 games, they probably scored 70 points off turnovers.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And so the Warriors have done a good job of handling the ball lately, but I think in that third quarter, they got sped up and lost a little composure, got a little sloppy. Next thing you know, they're getting blown out on their home court. And so this was a good game to show some video. I think tomorrow's practice, Tuesday, I think Monday's practice will be about video mostly. And they was because you watch the video of the Hawks, that prepares you for the Trailblazers because you saw 3 games, you saw them 3 times. And so I just think that, but if you're Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob, you got to be looking at this going, okay, guys, we're getting better, but we still need another piece or 2.
There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done.
This ain't it. This ain't going to get it.
Monty, the worst case scenario may have been playing the Kings before the Atlanta Hawks because the Kings play no defense and some play no resistance. Then you play against Atlanta, who kept the game at their tempo. That late second quarter run to take a 6-point lead in the halftime, that's what we talked about at halftime. You got to speed up the Hawks. Well, how do you do that? Making shots and make them scramble. Well, the Hawks were able to get buckets, set up their half-court defense, and keep the pace theirs. And they dropped 32 assists. We all sleep on Atlanta when it comes to assists per game. They dropped 32 assists. I mean, Daniels had 9. Okongwu had 7. Jalen Johnson had 6. Now had 2. You got Luke Kennard doing his thing. But you brought up the standings. And look, I know the Lakers are struggling, but the Warriors are still 6 games back of the Lakers in the loss column. They're 5th in the West, the LA Lakers. The 6th place team right now are the Phoenix Suns. The Warriors in the loss column are 4 back of the Suns. So, and we know that season series is 2-1 Warriors right now. The Rockets have lost 3 in a row, but the Warriors are 5 back in the loss column there. But if you look behind you, which we never want to do, we never want to look in the rear view.
Right.
But if you do, the Portland Trailblazers are sitting right there 2 games behind the Warriors in the loss column. They're 2 games back, period, 19-21. Warriors are 21-19. So you got to shake this one off in a heartbeat, and you got to get ready to play Portland, who wants that series. They want the season sweep. And as you mentioned, they got all the pieces with the Donovan Klingons, the obvious, the Shaden Sharps, the Kamara to shake this off. So this is an interesting week. You keep bringing up Dunleavy and Lacob, Monty. This is an interesting week when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga and seeing what you could get in that for that trade piece and whether it's others. Because at some point, you see it with the starting lineup. They'll continue to get off the slow starts, and Moses Moody's in a deep funk right now.
Yeah.
At some point, Melton will be in that starting lineup. It's just a matter of when, right?
Yeah, when he gets right now, they're keeping him in the mid-20s in terms of minutes played. Against the Hawks, Melton played
23 minutes.
23 minutes, and so he's been 23 to 25, 26 lately. I think Steve Kerr basically saying that when he gets to 30, then we might make that move. And I think they're still maybe another week or 2 away from that.
Yep.
But I think that's the end goal. I think because he's the best. He fits the numbers that Melton and Steph have together. Their numbers are terrific on offense. And so it's clear that they can play together. We saw it a little bit last year, a little flash, and we're seeing it more this year. So I think that will happen. But I don't want to let something pass that you mentioned earlier. You mentioned Luke Kennard.
Mm-hmm.
Guy has one skill.
Yep.
One skill.
3-point shot.
Yeah, it is a fabulous skill.
Yep.
I mean, he can shoot in a dark gym and make buckets. He got not just shots, he got open shots. Luke Kennard, who can do one thing, the Warriors let him do it with very little defensive response. So they broke down the defense. We've seen that before too, but that's easier to do when the defense is scrambling through transition.
Yep.
And so I just think that, for a game like this, it's a reminder, and you're starting to feel good about where the Warriors were headed. And there's reason for that. They've done something. The offense is perked up and all that.
But it wasn't 8 of 11 coming into tonight's game, Monty.
Yeah.
It was 8 of 11.
Yeah, but this is a reminder. Like, hey, slow your roll, timeout. Y'all ain't that yet. Y'all ain't all that yet. And you're going to have these kind of games against these kind of opponents, and it's going to challenge them to be better. And if they don't get better with this roster and they don't make any significant trades, then this season won't be nearly as long as they want it to be.
No, not at all. Luke Kennard in that third quarter again, 4 for 4, all 3-point shots, 12 points to really break this game open. as they outscored the Warriors 35-25, but it felt like it was a larger point differential in that third quarter. They were up 6 at the break. They went up, and, man, they took the crowd out of it, the energy out of it. And you look up at the scoreboard, that's where the Warriors, it felt like they could just get a lead. The crowd was starting to get into it, just get over the hump and get the lead. But credit to Atlanta. They held the Warriors back, 70-69. All right, cool, let's get a couple buckets. Boom, Warriors will push again. All right, we're going to get a couple buckets going on another run. Then they just blew it open. And they were getting to any spot that they wanted to. 46 points in the paint. Warriors actually won that category, +8. A fast break, the Hawks +6. As you mentioned, points off turnovers, especially those live ball turnovers, -17 when it came to points off turnovers, 16 total turnovers. When you think about what the Warriors had done over the previous 3 games, just 28 turnovers over the previous 3 games. So they take a step back in the turnover department there. So credit to Atlanta. Credit to Atlanta. But you look at the rest of this homestand. We'll talk again on Wednesday, Monte. And, of course, I'll see you Tuesday night when the Warriors host the Blazers. Think about the teams that are coming in now for the rest of the 5 games. You have Portland. You get the
long,
athletic,
active.
Yep. Thursday night, New York. What are they, Bonnie? Right?
Man, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns ain't going to stop anybody, but Mitchell Robinson is a beast on the offensive glass, and you know, he's a pretty good defensive player. Mikal Bridges, Anunoby.
Yeah.
You know, they've got some guys who can defend.
Yeah. Saturday night, you get the Charlotte Hornets. We can laugh at them, but we saw them on New Year's Eve. They got some dudes who can score. They don't play any defense. They got some athleticism.
Yeah, you should win that game by 20 points.
They just dropped 150 on Utah, though. The Utah, maybe it was the Salt Lake City Stars, their G League team. Then the back-to-back.
Yeah.
You get Miami, who's had their up and downs, but they are attention to detail, long and athletic. And then you get the Toronto Raptors in the homestand on the back end of a back-to-back. Yeah. So it doesn't get easier on this homestand. Charlotte, you may look at Charlotte and say, okay, that's the one, and you got to win that game. But you got to keep in mind, again, New Year's Eve, Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, Eric gets even LaMelo Ball, who I blasted after that game. He made 7 threes in that one.
We're coming in, I think we both agree they got to go 6-2 at least.
Yeah.
And now they got 5 left. That means they got to go 4-1 at least.
Yep.
I think if they go 4-1, they'll still be good. But again, they have to play near perfect basketball against these teams. They can get away with, being sloppy a little bit against maybe Charlotte, but some of these guys, if they get somebody that gets going, that can hurt you too. Mm-hmm. They can come and bite you. But if they were able to play really smart basketball, take care of the ball, make some shots, they shot terribly against the Hawks.
10 of 42 from 3.
Yeah. Players not named Jimmy or Steph shot 20% from 3. 20. So, you got to be better than that. But I still think they can pull it off. But it just requires them to be so on point. And to me, it might be sustainable for these next 5 games, but it's not sustainable for the long run. They still got 42 games to go.
42 games.
You can't keep doing this over 42 games, running into teams that are going to be taller, bigger, faster, quicker, more athletic, and active. And also, the other part of the Warriors thing is that a lot of these teams have been waiting for the day when they can beat them.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of these guys now in the NBA, remember, they grew up watching the Warriors terrorize the league.
Yep.
And they're like, they'd love to get some Warriors blood. Oh,
yeah. So, which is why I don't believe it's going to be easy trying to make a trade. Now, you talk about Jimmy and Steph, they combine and go 21 of 40 tonight, 5 of 17 from 3. The rest of the team go 21 of 50 and 5 of 25 from 3. So, yes, everybody outside of Jimmy and Steph did not have their A game tonight, especially offensively. But you have to give credit to Atlanta for doing that. They suffocated the Warriors in the half court.
Yep.
But that's why this trade, and as we approach the January 15th date where Jonathan Kuminga is eligible to be traded. And your piece last week was great on NBCSportsBay.com about the lukewarm market right now. Well, I think there's a couple reasons why it's lukewarm. One, the league knows that the Warriors are trying to unload him. So they're saying, why should we give up a lot? You may have to attach some draft picks just to get rid of him. We're not going to help you out. We know you want to deal him. Why would we deal our top dogs to go do that? And it may have to be a multi-team deal because I know a lot of teams don't like him. I'm not going to say a lot of teams, but I know there's some teams that don't like him. But two, what you just mentioned right there, the Warriors have terrorized the league for a long time. This run basically started back in 2012. We're now in 2026. Why do they want to give the Warriors a life preserver and say, yeah, sure, we'll give up, hypothetically, this player who's averaging 18, 9, and 7. Oh, yeah, here you go, Golden State. Have this player for a player you're not even playing right now. So that aspect, I think, looms large here. Yeah. The team's not just going to deal with the Warriors knowing that they're desperate to offload Jonathan Kuminga. So there may be a situation to where he's on his team after the deadline. I don't put those chances high, but it would not surprise me if he's stuck here after the trade deadline.
I know that the Warriors realize they will have to give up draft capital to get something that's really valuable to them. They know that. They have draft capital.
Yep.
They do have it. And they know Jonathan Kuminga is not going to get them somebody who can come in right away and be giving them 20 and 10 each night. They know that. So that's where the draft capital comes in. And that's where maybe another body or two come in too. And the Warriors have right now, they have 15 guys.
Yep.
Or well, I should say 14 because Seth Curry has been inactive and will be for at least another few weeks. We might not see Seth until after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but right now they have their roster is pretty stacked with personnel, but you want to get rid of some quantity to get some quality in here. That's the goal. And obviously Kuminga, the market is pretty tepid for him. And come on, I mean, that's not shocking because go back to July when he was a restricted free agent. If there were a bunch of teams that wanted Jonathan Kuminga, he was there to be had. And there's chatter here and there, but there was never a move that made sense for the Warriors. And nobody gave him an offer sheet that says, go to state, match this.
Also, though, I think a key point, too, there wasn't a lot of money out there.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of money out there.
Yep.
This new CBA has these organizations with their hands tied.
Yeah.
So teams are penny pitching.
No, the second nation.
A lot of these teams don't want to dip into the tax right now.
Yeah.
So you combine that with the unknown of who Jonathan Kuminga is, it's going to be a tough deal to make. It's going to be very difficult. It's the finances. Why do you think the Hawks? Yeah, sure, they play a lot better without Trae Young. That has a lot to do with that blockbuster trade. But also, they get the financial flexibility.
Yes.
Expiring contract with CJ McCollum. Corey Kispert is there. They also have another expiring contract with Kristaps Porzingis. So now they have the wiggle room while having another pick from New Orleans in a Derek Queen trade. They have flexibility to navigate this new CBA. This new CBA is it is a MFer. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So this was the worst possible situation for Jonathan Kuminga this past summer.
Yes.
Not a lot of money out there, restricted free agency. And do we really want to trade the farm for a player who we saw have a great second round playoff series, but overall it's been up and down because we just don't know who he is. So that's a real thing with JK. So this is going to be tricky. I think a lot of people assuming that, hey, the 15 is going to come, boom, he's out of here. I'd be a little stunned by that.
Yeah, I mean, I initially thought that, somebody will bite or that the Warriors would lower their demands enough because it's still hard for me to envision him sitting on the bench for 42 more games not playing. I mean, I don't think that's good for him. I don't think it's good for the team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an awful look and an awful statement on the culture, I think, to have that happen. So I think there's got to be some sense of, I don't want to say urgency, but at least some sense of impetus to try and make something happen. We know that the Warriors are not going to get him away, but right now, he's a sell low guy, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was ever a sell high guy, he would have been gone already. He'd have been gone over the summer.
Yep.
And so, for Jonathan Kuminga's sake, I wish we could say, man, there's 6 or 7 teams are looking at him going, you know what? I could see him coming to our team and balling out and, giving us 20 and 8 a night and just getting buckets here and there. And all you need is one team to say that. But then what are they going to give up?
Yo,
that's going to be the key. So
this
I still think,
Monty,
what's that?
It could flip. This thing could flip in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
All it takes is one injury, whether it's on the Golden State Warriors, whether it's on any other team out there, where the market all of a sudden heats up. But right now, I look at it from the other side of things, not from the Warrior side of it, but from the rest of the league. Why should we rush to go trade for that young man when they're not even playing for him? Let's make them squirm a bit. Let's see. Let's strong. Seriously, this is business, baby.
I think it depends on how much you value him. I don't think there's a team out there saying, let's make the Warriors squirm as much as is there a team saying, is Kuminga really going to make us better?
Right.
And if he is, screw making the Warriors squirm, make a deal. If you don't think he is, then yeah, you're not making the Warriors squirm. You're saying we have little or no interest. And so the unfortunate thing for JK, like you said, the timing of his availability, he's been available now for pretty much 6 months. I know he couldn't be traded, but available in the sense that if you wanted him, you can let the Warriors know you're interested, And so there's just been so little conversation along those lines. Now, yeah, could it change? Sure, it could. But if you're the Warriors, you have to know. Maybe you make a trade that doesn't even involve him, but you got to know that you look at this team right now and you say, "Yeah, we're getting better. We're sort of tying up some of our loose ends, turnovers, etc." I said the word, but we still don't have what it takes to compete with the powers in the West.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Do you believe the Warriors are maybe asking too much for him? Or did they ask too much for him in the summer? Or because I know you brought up where you talked to an executive like, boy, Kuminga, they could have the most dangerous 6-man in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
That has come to fruition.
Right.
He's gone from starting to basically not playing. And it's crazy to me. But do you think the Warriors maybe asked for a little too much for JK?
Well, here's the thing is, his salary slot demands that they get someone of value.
Right.
If you're $22.5 million this year, that if you trade that out, you shouldn't be getting a slouch in return.
Yeah.
And so you gotta be, if somebody makes that trade, they gotta be thinking their $22 million guy is worse than your $22 million or older. Because people look at JK and they say he's still 23. Maybe he can be that guy in a couple of years because some guys take longer than other guys. And he had so little pre-NBA experience to where you could look at that and go, maybe. I mean, you could look at a guy, for example, like Jalen Brown, how good he is now. First couple of years, people were like, man, he doesn't have a move. He plays pretty good defense, but offensively, he's a turnover prone, and he was turnover prone. His handle was loose. A lot of things that people say about Kuminga, people said about Jalen Brown in his first couple of years. But he got to play through it. He played a lot of minutes. JK has played about 6,000 minutes in the NBA. And those things are still kind of there. He got better. That when the season started, he's in the starting lineup. He saw the floor a little better. His handle was still kind of hit and miss, but you saw him seeing the court better, which was, to me, a sign of progress.
Yeah.
Then he came back off the injury, and it wasn't the same. He went back to turnovers and poor shooting.
Monty, I think we're seeing it too right now. JK, let's just move him to the side. He's not playing. January 15th is coming. You're now seeing it too with the sense with Draymond and Jimmy, where Steve Kerr has staggered. Now, Jimmy, he wants him with that second unit, and there's a lot more shooting around him. But you're noticing with Jimmy and Draymond, just why I want fans to go out there and watch the first stint in the first quarter, and whenever Jimmy and Draymond are on the floor together. And it's not to say that they can't play together, but some of those spacing issues, it's one of those issues we're seeing when other players like Kuminga was on the floor is looming when those two are together.
Yeah.
And this is something that they have to rectify because this is second highest paid player and third highest paid player on the team. But it's almost like my turn, your turn, where if Draymond's not handling the ball, he's in the corner. We know that's not Draymond's favorite thing to do. It's just
no. Well, and it's not his strength at all.
his strength. When Draymond has the ball, you see Jimmy wander to the corner. Not his favorite thing to do in the world, which is why Steve Kerr has pulled Jimmy early in these first quarters. Now tonight it was about 6 minutes because they couldn't get a timeout. But really, it's been about 4 minutes. 4 minutes in the first quarter. All right, Jimmy, you out. We got Dre and Steph. They do their thing. Jimmy comes back with the second unit. That's something they're going to have to figure out. Those two are two of their better defenders, no doubt about it. But offensively, it hasn't meshed as well as it did during that 23-8 run last season when Jimmy came aboard.
I'll tell you what, though. People need to forget about that 23-8 run. Every now and then Steve Kerr will bring it up. We think we can do it because we did. That was a whole different set of circumstances. One, they got the bump that comes with adding a star.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams, when they get a star, they're like, there's a new energy now.
Right.
And two, they only had to play 31 games to finish the season. We're talking about 82, and Jimmy's already here.
Right. And who's not part of that? Oklahoma City, they didn't play during those 31 games. They didn't play Minnesota during that 31-game run.
Yeah,
that's true. Remember, they played the New York Knicks.
Competition.
The first game at Madison Square Garden, there was no Karl-Anthony Towns. Second game at Chase Center, there was no Jalen Brunson. And they played a lot of teams that were kind of shorthanded. It was an impressive run, no doubt. But you really dive deep into those 31 games. You're right, Monte.
Yeah,
there's something that, it's so, I get it. But that is something they got to fix, though, Monte. They have to figure out a way for those guys to coexist for long stretches of time, period of time on the court.
No, I think that's why you see the staggering now. And I don't know. I don't see them going to, I asked Steve Kerr a couple of weeks ago about the possibility of Draymond being a sixth man, about Draymond coming off the bench. And he's like, no, we haven't considered that. And I don't know that they will. Could Draymond be kind of an Andre Iguodala guy off the bench? Defense, passing, because people didn't respect Andre's shot either from three.
Right.
And so Draymond is a guy who can run the offense like Andre did.
Yep.
Play defense like Andre did.
Right.
So maybe they'll get to that point, but they're not there now, and there's no sign of it happening yet.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if Draymond needs to go to the bench, especially on this roster. I don't mind him starting. But even though the starting lineup thing it's all overrated because Steve Kerr will sub guys in and out 4 minutes into the basketball game.
Yeah, the finishing lineup is the important thing.
Third quarter tonight, Atlanta goes up 12. Steve Kerr burns a timeout 3 minutes into the third quarter. Boom, Moses Moody out, DeAnthony Belton in. So it's all to me about that closing lineup. And the closing lineup is always going to involve Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green.
As it should.
How can you get those guys playing together for longer stretches in the first half? Steve, if you watch these games, Jimmy's on the floor, Steph and Dre out. Steph and Dre in, Jimmy's out. Now, I get it. You want one of your superstars on the floor at all times. So I understand it from that aspect. But you notice when they're playing together, Draymond doesn't have the ball or Jimmy doesn't have the ball. They just park themselves in the corner. And it's kind of hurting the offense in that way because teams are going to double off of Draymond, leave him wide open. And if he's rolling with the three-point shot, he'll let him fly. I love it when he lets it fly.
He needs to.
He needs to. You're not going to get a shot. Steve Kerr can't drop a better play to getting a wide open three. We watched Draymond Green warm up. He's capable of hitting that shot. So is Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy Butler won't settle for the three. Now, tonight he did. He took 6 3-point attempts. That's because the Hawks in the paint, long and athletic, contesting everything, had to settle for that jump shot. So that's something that's going to have to rectify itself, though, moving forward.
I think they see it and they know it, which is why they started a few weeks ago the tweaking of the rotation. Staggering Jimmy and Draymond. But I still think that you have a situation now where no matter how you stagger those guys, there will be certain teams that it's just going to be hard for them to score on.
Yeah.
And easy for them to be giving up turnovers.
Yep.
And the Hawks are one such team. And on Tuesday night, the Blazers have been one of those teams too. And so we'll see what kind of adjustments are made between Sunday and Tuesday.
Yep.
Because right now I'm thinking front office got to be looking at this going, no, we can't. We know how many teams there are in the NBA that are going to be long and athletic, yada, yada, yada. I don't think the Warriors look at the Lakers and go, we're worried. I don't think they look at OKC and say, yeah, we're worried. Look at Minnesota and go, yeah, we're worried. Mm-hmm. They look at some teams and they look at, a team like Portland, which is right on their heels, and say, yeah, that's obviously a tough matchup for us. And again, matchups matter. Ask Oklahoma City about San Antonio.
Absolutely.
Matchups matter. Absolutely. And right now, there's a lot of bad matchups for the Warriors. And until they fix their roster with more athleticism and size, there's going to be bad matchups.
No doubt. And it's I have to go back to JK, but he's athletic. He's everything that you just talked about.
Yeah.
And at the time, and he could guard at the point of attack, but a change of scenery is definitely needed. Like that's
I think most sides know that.
That ship is sailed, and they got to figure out what to do. But can you upgrade by dealing him? And what is it going to take to get him to get more athletic and get size and get better defenders here? Because the Hawks came in here and took the Warriors' lunch money. They have 5 games left on this homestand. And trust me, we don't like talking about this stuff. We want to talk about wins and kumbaya. And, wow, the Warriors. Look at
we did in our last podcast. They were winning.
They're winning. They still call me a hater. They said I hate watch. Can you believe that, Monte? Just having some fun. Niners one day said, "Oh, you were hate watching because you picked the Eagles."
Oh wow!
What?
Wow!
Are you guys idiots? I mean, I swear to God, this new social media age, there's a lot of dummies out there.
That's why you can ignore a lot of them.
I do, but I like to talk to the people, Monte.
But it's easy to determine which ones have a basic knowledge, and which ones are just like spouting off.
Well, our commenters, Monte, the people who comment on this podcast, they're all knowledgeable.
Most of them are.
All of them are. I don't mind them.
No, there's a couple of wild ones.
Although there's one guy in the last, section.
There's a couple of guys that are like, okay, one
guy was like so ticked off at me. He said, "Man, I'll be outside. You want to squabble?" I forget the guy's name.
What?
He wanted to like squabble. I was like, "Damn,
wow,
wow. Relax a little there, buddy.
It ain't that important, bro."
Hey man, I'm not
Come on, brother.
I got kids, man.
It ain't that important. It shouldn't be that important to you.
You imagine, Monte? Look at Bonta Hill squabbing outside the gatehouse at Chase Center because some YouTube commenter said he hates the Warriors.
That would be what do they call that? A debacle?
A debacle for me. For me, it'd be a debacle for me. It'll make that nice day.
Man, nobody wants to see you all scratched up and stuff. Your hair all messy,
I haven't been
your suit torn. We don't need to see that.
Hey, listen, hey, man, YouTuber, if you want to fight me, give me 4 months of training, please. Just, I guess, training. Anyway, Warriors lose to the Hawks, man. They'll take on the Blazers on Tuesday night. 5 games left on this homestand, 2-1 during this 8-game homestand. And we'll revisit the situation, see how they do against the Blazers, a team they have not beaten all season long. All right, this podcast brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Visit sleepworld.com. That is sleepworld.com. Why Mancini is what separates us from others. Our Rest Easy Promise. Every purchase is backed by our Rest Easy Promise. Mancini makes sure you sleep soundly in every single way. That means 365-night comfort guarantee, free next day delivery, plus own mattress removal, best price guaranteed, 0% financing for 60 months. Go ahead and follow Monte Poole. Follow all his work at NBCSportsBayArea.com, where he is typing up some fire these days as the Warriors get closer and closer to January 15th and try to stay above water here, keep their head above water. 21-19. They've got to get rolling, stack some wins. They go 4-1 the rest of the way. That means they'll be 25-20 before they hit the road for 4 games.
This was a chance to go 4 over 500 for the first time.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah, I didn't get there.
You're the hater, Monte, not me.
Now they got to start another winning streak to get to that 4-game win streak they haven't had yet.
They have not. I didn't want to. I saw that earlier today, and I was like, oh, and I kind of forgot about it as the Hawks would just bomb at threes and do whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. That's it for us. Thanks for everybody for listening. Subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to your podcast. Love Talk Podcast. That's it for us. We'll see you Wednesday.